A lot of folks have been asking when this is going to happen. Can you guys show some audio upgrades? We've got Ryan's two-door in the shop here, and as you guys might or might not know, his is a bass two-door, so no subwoofer, no amplifier, stock speakers in there. And I'll be real with you guys, when he has the top and doors off, the audio just sucks in there. You can barely hear it rolling down the road, especially if you're going over 40 or 50 miles an hour. Well guys, we've got most of the solution laid out in front of us here from our friends at MB Quart. The nice thing with MB Quart is it's just about all plug and play. We've got full set of speakers. So we've got his kick speakers here that go in the dash, both left and right. We've got a new pair of tweeters for up on the top. And then we got our 6x9s, which are gonna go in our sound bar. Now what took so long to get this kit in is this had to be designed. So Ryan, on both your Jeep and my Jeep, the sound bars are completely different. They have airbags in them now. The shapes of these are different. MB Quart makes this piece. So this fits your 6x9 and also incorporates the LED light that you have on top. So we added on to their basic speaker kit. So this is where your basic speaker comes with all this here. And we've got a 10-inch massive subwoofer to go in the back. So this is going to go on the back of Ryan's tailgate, right on the inside, and it gets wired up to the amplifiers that they've included. And then over here is all the fun bits. All the wiring harnesses are included. So we've got our crossover harness, our soundbar harness, we've got our subwoofer harness for the back, batteries, all of our amplifiers right here, and everything kind of set out and ready to go. Well guys, you can see behind me, we've got pretty much of Ryan's dash already disassembled here. We do have a full-length removal video of that. We figured if we put all that into this video, it would make it way too long. You might find that video useful if you're looking to do the cluster swap, if you're looking to add some audio, maybe you want to swap out these dash panels, maybe you want to put kick speakers in. That's a good video for that, but we're going to get started with this installation of the MB Quart. This is a very technical installation. We've got to do everything on the dash here. We're going to pop Ryan's passenger seat off, pop some more trim off. We got to pop the roll cage off, get a lot of carpet or armor light removed. So we're going to just be kind of sporadically throwing some things in. The main goal of this video is to show the audio upgrade at the end. You might ask, where is all the audio? Well, right here, Ryan. This is called a tweeter. We're going to disconnect this by depressing a small little portion on the back. There you go. So that's a tweeter that gives more of your high frequencies. I'm not an audio expert when it comes to what all these does. You've got a tweeter here, and then you've got a kick speaker, which is the one right by your knee. One of the dash speakers on each side. Up in the sound bar, I ripped mine apart yesterday. There are 2 speakers up there. So we've actually got 2, and they're kind of small. So we'll be replacing those with 6x9s up there, which will have a lot more oomph. And then adding those amplifiers in will power all these speakers. So we're not going to be tying into any of the stock plugs. It's all aftermarket now. So we'll have a T-harness on the back of the radio. That'll all plug in, turn the, I believe now they're electronic or digital signals for the speakers. We're going to turn those into analog signals by that pack system. So that's the problem with the new stuff. I ran stuff on my old Jeeps. You just went straight wires right to the analog signals. Now it's all digital, which has to convert to analog and then run it all. I'm sure I'm losing some people at this point. So right here it is. This is going to be your knee speaker. So this is a small, probably a 4-inch speaker right here. But what we've got with the new ones, the wires actually piggyback off of the fronts. So the front speakers all run to one amp, the rear speakers run to another, and then the sub goes to the last one. So you can get a lot more adjustment out of these. The only thing I will make a little mark to you guys, which is on the rest of the Jeeps, your security module, Brian. This is your security module right here. So we actually, yours is unplugged because we use a taser. Normally there's 2 plugs that go into that. That has to be swapped from the old speaker onto this one. So we swapped that over. There's already all the brackets and everything. Just one thing to note, but check out the new speaker. Look at how much, there you go. There's a side-by-side. Look at the size and the difference. And this is probably twice the weight. A lot more fill in this. That's going to give you better audio quality. What I talked about before, this is all plug and play. So how cool is that? MB Quart gives you the harness there, and then these 2 wires will run up the dash into the tweeter. So all of it's powered right from this speaker, and then you just run a wire across to power them both. So we're now up at the soundbar. I know we jumped up to that, but I wanted to try and get all the speakers and the wiring run. You've got to get a lot of the soundbar removed. So the first step is getting the trim piece on the front here. It's T25s. There's 5 of them across, because you've got to get the wiring harness, the correct plug plugged in, and run that down along the B pillar of the 2-door. So be mindful of all this, and I'll say disconnect your battery before doing any of this, because I didn't know this, but there are 2 airbag inflators right underneath here. So you just got to be careful. But we need to just pull this a little bit out. So what we're doing, we got to pull our sound bar off because we have to make a little bit of modifications to it to make a 6x9 fit. Also, I'll have Ryan clean off all the smiley faces.
Look, I'm not gonna clean it.
It's from AOAA, where we didn't even do a hard trail. It's really neat to be this close to airbag inflators, and then me touching them right now as we speak. There's one right here. There's one screw. This whole sound bar is gonna lower. Maybe. Or I forget one or two. There you go. There's your sound bar. All right, I'm gonna hand this to my dad because what we need to do, here's a good shot of it, Ryan. See those speaker? Oh, there's a cricket. Ah, right in your head. Ah! No, I'm just kidding. So we're gonna show you guys some differences here between what you're replacing. First off, let's start with the speakers. So here's a 6x9 by MB Quart. You can see just how much bigger that is. Look at how big that is on the back, absolutely massive. And that's gonna be replacing these two smaller speakers. So Ryan, this is what you've got in the factory. A smaller, probably about a 3.5-inch speaker, and then this is like smaller than a tweeter. These are not that big, and they cannot run that much wattage through here. So the reason we're putting an amplifier and putting all these systems in is because these speakers can run so much more power. That's when you get that oomph, you get that real, the bass, the heavy hits, you know, that's what that's coming from is the amplifier. This is the 18 to 23 speaker grill, so it actually ends just right here on the end. Look at the size difference. So if I actually set that right here, look at that, Ryan. Completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different. This just bolts in 4. This actually gets 5.
Is that because of the airbags or just?
I don't know. Well, they swapped it because, you know, the last JL, you have that little like square right here with all your lights. These lights, there's 2 in the like sound bar, and then there's like 2 in the front. Whereas the old JLs just had that 4 center pod with the middle one. Now, Dad, you've got one of the templates. So what you've got to do in order to get this to fit, because you can see that there's a lot of plastic in here, right, Ryan? Mm-hmm. How is this going to fit down in there? Where's that gonna fit?
I don't know.
They include the templates. So what you do is you line up the templates over top of these threaded inserts. See how they kind of sit all on there? Trace that out with a Sharpie and you cut all around there. And then this, once it's bolted in, will sit right in nicely. So you gotta do some work. You want louder speakers. All right guys, so we drilled a couple holes. We had to drill these 2 holes right down here. They're already pre-drilled for Jeep. I'm just gonna let this loose because I believe the harness can actually come right down through here and pop out, and then it's gonna run inside the vehicle. But we're gonna try it out. So we're gonna get this box installed with the included hardware. You get some spacers and then they include some bolts. So we're gonna get that done and mount everything up and then run the wires all the way through the front. All right, so we're gonna hook up the subwoofer in the back. This is a massive subwoofer. This is where a lot of that bass is gonna come from, a lot of that oomph. So we're getting it hooked up here, get that into place. We got the full thing all hooked up. Make sure the MB Quart logo is the right way. It's got some weight to it. This Jeep is gonna be properly bumping once this is done. And we already got the wire ran through the back. My idea of being able to run it through the tailgate on the inside is not gonna work. So that's okay though. It'll still look really nice and we'll get it all cleaned up. So it's actually pretty close texture wise too. I gotta be honest with you. I mean, it looks good on here. It doesn't look like an afterthought. The nice thing too is actually, like, I know you can't put a tailgate table in now, so this kind of takes that up, but you can still set stuff up here. So that gives you like a little bit of a platform here. And honestly, Ryan, you like the audio more than you wanted a tailgate table. We can build you something in the back. And you have a 2-door with nothing in the back. Here's your tailgate table. I like to get all this knocked out first. You guys can see, if you look behind me, a lot of the Jeep's all ripped apart. You can see your upper soundbar is just dangling there. But that way I can get all that knocked out at once, run all the wires cleanly. So I'm probably gonna run your sub wire, Ryan, right up behind here, tuck it up, and then run it along factory wiring. The only thing you have to watch with that if you're doing audio is some of the wires can cause interference. All right, so let's talk about some stuff on the table. So this is the Pack Pro here, or the Amp Pack Pro. This is what's gonna convert the signal. So basically what you have is you have a harness that will convert from the back of your radio and then plugs into this. Now here's the big difference, right? So this is the 18 to 23 plug. So you can see just how massive this is. 18 to 23s will all use this style plug to go into the back of the radio. Here's the 24. Way different. I mean, guys, like, it's a whole different ballpark. Look at how tiny those pins are in there. We talked to MB Quart last year at Smoky Mountain. That's actually how we came to meet them. We were sitting at a red light. They pulled up, they saw our channel, and they watched our channel and were like, do you guys have audio in those? And we were like, no, we don't have anything. So that's how long it took was to get the 24s. Not that took them that long, but they were just starting to work on the 24s, and they got everything dialed in, and it's all fitting right. So now that we've gotten to this point, we wired up the soundbar, got the back subwoofer all wired up. This is the guts of the Uconnect 5. So on this screen, it's a lot different than previously. On the last Jeeps, you kind of had the screen as well as all the hardware behind it all in one piece. This is a two-piece, so you've got the screen separate from the main computer of it. What we've got to do is use this T-harness to basically tap into the back of it. That's how different it does look. So we're going to take off this blue connector and the green connector here and run these in line. Now with this pack connector, you would have to connect these if you have a factory amplifier. Ryan's Jeep did not, so we're just going to have to plug these in and then plug them back in. And this cord right here, the wire, will actually feed towards the passenger side, and that's what we're going to connect this box to behind the passenger glove box. All right, so that's down there. That basically will hook up all of our RCAs, so our 6 of those will run from that. They'll come down, and then they'll go into the amps that are going to be sitting here. Radios tucked back nicely. Just make sure the wires all fit. You're not jamming anything closed. The only thing we have to do with the speakers yet, we got to put them in, of course. We got to put both our knee speakers as well as our tweeters, but then we got to run the crossover wire over to the other side. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we did a lot of wiring off camera. So we got all of our power wires ready. We've got our front speakers. We've got our rear speakers, which have an RGB speaker hookup. I imagine they're going to be making full soundbar replacements for these. And then we've got our rear sub, which is just this 2-prong. So you're only going to have to worry about these 3, and that's why we've got 3 amplifiers. So you got a front, you've got a rear, and then you've got your subwoofer in the back. So we've got all that set up, and then our 3 powers. We ran all of our wires up underneath. We've got our RCAs ready to go, which these are just gonna kind of tuck right up underneath here and then come to the side. But right now what I wanna do is I wanna set our unit into place. So we've got everything kind of set up and ready to go. And this will just sit right like so. Now, we have Armor Light, making it a bit more interesting to install.
I didn't realize it was under the seat.
Yeah, so it tucks it nice and tight underneath there. All of your RCAs will go to this side. So they're gonna go around and they'll come into the back. So we've got subs, which was left, right is red, left is right, yeah. Subs. All right, guys, so we're gonna give you a baseline. We got the bass at 0, mids at 0, trebles at 0, stock set up here. Let's give you a baseline with some copyright-free music. We'll turn it up to 30. It's gonna drop the bass, right, Ryan?
Yeah, right here.
Okay, let's see. I'll turn these all the way up. Yeah, your speakers are vibrating, and it's not loud at all. I could probably turn this up to max volume. All right, so we got baseline at 30. That's what it sounds like. Bass is at 9, trebles at 9, and we showed you at 0. What's gonna be cool is when we show you this right after with the upgrade, but let's show you what it sounds like with some MB Quart. And just like that, a few hours later, we've got the full MB Quart system hooked up. We're gonna test it back out using the same track and see how it sounds at volume 30. I will already tell you we did it off camera and it sounds fantastic. So let's turn this up to 30 with everything set to 0 here. It's shaking the Jeep. So now we'll... Yeah, Ryan's not going to be driving around like that, so let's just say this thing has probably way more power than we will ever push out of it.
All right, guys, we got the doors and the windows out. I'm going to give you a little baseline of just the wind kind of coming through the Jeep. I'm getting up to about 30 to 35 miles an hour. Around 40. All right, now I'm going to turn up the MB Quart system with some YouTube free music that we have at the same speed I'm going. And I'm going to go up to about halfway, about 20 on the volume here, just to give you what that sounds like. And then we're going to go to about the threshold I want to stay at and not go above, and show you what that sounds like. So here you go. Here's 20. Definitely so much better than my bass audio. Now I'm gonna crank it up here when the bass drops. So this is what it sounds like. Yeah, I could only max it about 28 on the volume thing. MB Quart specifically says to not go above a certain decibel, and yeah, the bass audio was not cutting it. So thank you, MB Quart.
On today's Viewer Rig the Video, we're checking out Eugene's 4xe Sahara that he's got tastefully modified, and actually just sent this in today. We wanted to hit one off the top because we've got a lot of them sitting in the folder yet. But he's got a 4xe Sahara with a Mopar lift, Rubicon Recon package wheels, Baja high fender flares from Quadratec, a Quadratec aluminum bumper, a Badland winch, metal cloak full belly skid, and front and rear aux lockers. He's got a ton done to this 4xe. It looks great. I'd love to see some more photos of it. But if you guys want to have a chance at your rig being featured, be sure to send us a message on Instagram or hit us up on an email. It definitely bumps when you get it turned up, so we're extremely happy with how it turned out, how it looks, and how it performs. If you guys wouldn't mind, reach out to MB Quart if you guys need something for your 2024 or the rest of your Wranglers. They have a ton of great audio. Until next time, though, I am sweaty. I'm tired of working on audio components, and my name is Matt. Brian's behind the camera. We want you to get out there and earn yours.
Mainstream. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream.
That's gonna be
That's how it ends.
That's gonna be Ryan at the Starbucks line.